Okay, so today we're going to talk about real-time reactive Amazon EC2 automation with MGMT config. That's the last time I'm going to read the slide, but it's really long. This is an abridged version of a longer talk, so I won't go into implementation details. We're going to talk about how you can put it to use. So my name's Jonathan Gold. I'm a sysadmin turned magician turned unemployed programmer. I've been working on MGMT contributing for a little over a year. I wrote a bunch of the core resources, including the one that I'm going to talk about today, which is the Amazon EC2 resource, which is tasked with provisioning EC2 resources and then monitoring their power states and making sure that they do what you want them to do. So in order to provision an instance, all you have to do is give it a name, specify what state it should be in, choose a region, an instance type, and an image ID, and then you can deploy it to an existing MGMT cluster, or you can use a command like James showed you before and get that cluster started on your own computer. And right away, MGMT will launch your states, and it'll start monitoring and maintaining those states. So if your instance is terminated because some junior dev thought it was a dev machine, but it was a prod machine, MGMT will start it, provision a brand new one. Like James showed you, you can also schedule uptime and downtime. So if you don't work on Sundays, neither should your servers. You can set them up to automatically shut down on Saturdays and come back up Monday morning. A more refined approach than that would be to scale your infrastructure according to the metrics that you actually care about. James showed you how many event streams we were able to tap into, whether it was the microphone or system load or network or whatever it is. You can scale according to whatever you want. If you want to do even more cool stuff, you can bootstrap MGMT onto your instance and actually start managing your EC2 instance with MGMT internally. That way, you can leverage the power of the language and the engine to provision your services and your software, and basically set it up so that when your instance is launched, it automatically or automagically installs and configures all the software. So even if your instance is terminated and disappears, you can bring it back up and not have to configure anything, which I think is pretty cool. You can also create cross-provider clusters. So you can have some of your nodes on AWS, you can have some of your nodes in a different AWS region, and then you can have some nodes on Google Cloud or Azure or even in your local data center. And that can really help ensure that you have the redundancy you need. Tools like this can help you automate your HA and business continuity strategies. And I don't have to tell you that a little bit of confidence when it comes to recovering your infrastructure goes a long way. And this can save you a lot of time, especially with the parallel execution. So those are some of the things the resource can do right now. The following are a couple things that I think it should be able to do. But obviously, it's a community project. Your opinions are more important than mine, so take these with a grain of salt. The first thing that I think we need are some tightly integrated resources. EC2 depends on key pairs, security groups, and VPC networks in order to actually do the things you want it to do. And if we had MGMT resources for these Amazon products, then it would make deploying your servers a lot smoother. Beyond that, it would be cool to have all kinds of AWS resources. I can't think of one that wouldn't benefit from MGMT. I already have some code for SNS and for CloudWatch. If anybody's interested in getting involved, I'd be happy to help get you started. Ultimately, it would be great to homogenize the cloud APIs so you can use one definition and deploy your instances on AWS or Google Cloud or wherever. And if you could do that, then you could actually migrate based on spot pricing. So if it was cheaper to run on Google Cloud yesterday, but it's cheaper on Amazon today, why shouldn't your infrastructure automatically migrate itself, right? So I think this stuff is pretty cool. If you think this stuff is pretty cool, you should get involved. James mentioned most of these things that you can do. We definitely invite people of all skill levels, even if you're not a programmer and you just want to throw some ideas around. We're more than happy to talk. Yeah, and if you want to get involved, obviously, it's on GitHub. Everything that's not on GitHub happens on IRC. That's my website there. I have an article about the AWS resource that goes into a little bit more detail. And you can always tweet me and definitely say hi to James, tell him what an awesome job he's doing. And that's my talk, so thank you very much.